Let's build this extremely simple Kelp Fuel and XP farm for Minecraft Bedrock 1.19. To start off, you're going to want to find the area that you want to build this farm. Now it is fairly compact. It's 4 wide by I believe 6 long. I'll double check that and put it on the screen. So it's pretty simple. You can build it outside. You can build it inside your base, really anywhere you want. So go ahead and locate the front of your farm. So for me, I want this to be the front. And now we're going to get started with the build. So go ahead and place down 2 blocks, 1 going towards you, 1 going away, and then breaking this middle block. So the 3 blocks are configured just like this. And then go ahead and take your lever and place it on the front here. And like I said, this is going to be the front of the farm and how you turn the farm on and off. Then take a redstone torch, not on the ground, but placing it on that block. Take your redstone repeater and look towards the back of the farm right here and place down the redstone repeater inside of that block there. So you can see that the 2 prongs are facing away from the lever. And then go ahead and take a piece of redstone, place it down here, and you should see that it starts this redstone ticking animation, which is actually the redstone clock to make the 0 tick portion of this farm. And you can see that if you turn this lever off, it pauses it, and if you turn it back on, the farm will start again. Go ahead and walk around to the back here, placing 1 block behind here, and now you get to decide, turn this off really quick, you get to decide if you want to build the farm to the left or the right. It doesn't matter. I'm going to build it to the right, so I'm going to go ahead and place 3 more blocks here, or 2 more blocks, sorry, 1, 2. I'm then going to take my redstone, placing it on top of all 3 of those blocks, and then taking my sticky piston, looking at the edge of the hitbox of the redstone here and placing my sticky pistons, and you can see that they do get fully pushed out like this and they're turned on. Go ahead right underneath where this piston is, place 2 blocks, so right in front of it, 2 sand on front of those, and then 2 sand on top of the extended part of the piston. So once this is all said and done, it should look a little something just like this. Next is time to make the collection chamber for the farm, so go ahead and place down a chest here, and you can place down a double chest if you want, but for me a chest will do. And then go ahead and take some hoppers, and on this side, place down your 2 hoppers leading into that, take your 2 smokers and put them on top of the hoppers there. Then go ahead and take 2 more hoppers, putting them on top of those smokers, and then your final 2 hoppers going inside of those hoppers there. So once it's all said and done, you should see that the hoppers look a little something like this, going into there, into the smoker, into those hoppers, and into this chest. Once you have the farm looking a little something like this, go to where you place the lever on the block that it's on, place a block on top of there, and then go ahead and place down 12 blocks on this backside here. This doesn't have to be 12, you can make this wall smaller or bigger, it doesn't really matter. It's mostly just for cosmetic things, just to make the farm look nicer. You're then going to come to this back row of hoppers here, going up 3 blocks on both sides, and then connecting the top there, so you should have a 2x2 area right inside of here. And then go ahead and take your glass panes and place them on here, just like that. Coming around to the back side of the farm now, go ahead and break this block and place a redstone torch on top of it, and you'll know you've done this step correctly if that torch does turn off. You then want to take a block and place it on top of that redstone torch. If you're having trouble finding how to place that block on that hitbox, you can just place 2 like that, and then break that one. And then you want to take another redstone torch and place it on top like that, so you should see that you have this little redstone tower with this bottom one off and this top one on. You can then go ahead and place 2 blocks on the back of this piston there, and then just go ahead and fill in the entire area, so you have a little enclosure around that sand, and then bring this up 1 more level, just like this, so that you can see you have 1 block high around this sand. You then want to go ahead and take your 2 regular pistons, place them facing towards this glass here, and then come around to the back of it, placing 2 blocks here and then 2 pieces of redstone. So you should now see that both of these pistons are activated. And if you want to double check to make sure you've all done it correctly, the back of the farm should look like this, with the 3 pieces of redstone on the bottom, the torch is off there, 1 torch above it, and then 2 more pieces of redstone activating these pistons. Staying on the back side of the farm now, go ahead and take 2 blocks and place them on both sides of the pistons here. So 2 there, and then also place them on top. So 2 more on both sides, so you should have a total of 4 blocks on both sides. And then on the back of the piston, go ahead and place down 2 blocks. So you can see you have this little O shape right in the middle here, and you can only see the activated part of the pistons. You're then going to want to come around to this redstone torch here, break that block, and place 3 pieces of redstone dust, just like that, with the block on top of this redstone torch. So you should see that this redstone is now activated. And then what you're going to want to do is take 2 trapdoors and place them right here. So you should see that when you turn on the farm, these trapdoors get activated on and off and on and off. And again, just to make sure that you've done this correctly, you should have a block on top of the redstone torch. That's an important part that I actually forgot to do in the first step, and so why it wasn't working. And then make sure you have the 3 pieces of redstone dust there. Now you're going to want to grab your water buckets. You're going to need 4 water buckets total, so you might want to make just a small infinite water source. Go ahead and on these trapdoors here, click shift and place a water bucket inside of both to waterlog those trapdoors, and then also down on these pieces of sand, make sure you can see the pieces of sand. Do the same thing, place down 2 buckets of water to waterlog those. Now make sure not to do it on this piston area or it will break. And then the final step is just taking your kelp and placing it down inside of there here. So you should have the 2 waterlog blocks up here, 2 waterlog blocks down there, and then your 2 pieces of kelp on the sand there. But with that, that is going to be the entire farm. So you can see now, I know it's not really the most beautiful thing. You've kind of got some exposed redstone and everything back here. You can go ahead and maybe just build a wall, do whatever you want to make this look a little bit better. But with that, the entire farm is complete. You can now see that if I go ahead and flick this on lever, this will start to switch, and you can see that all of this kelp is being pushed inside of these hoppers and then inside of these here. Now you're going to see that it's not going to work. And that's obviously because we haven't put any fuel in here. Now I'm going to go ahead and use coal, but if you want to use something like a lava bucket, you can use that. I just find coal, at least to start, the easiest. So you can go ahead and see if you put it inside of here, this is now 0 ticking. That's what it means. You can see it's growing and breaking and growing and breaking over and over and over, going into these hoppers, into here, and then once it's been smelted, it automatically goes inside of here. And what you can actually do is you can use this as fuel. So you'll see that when I get 9 dried kelp, just like this, I can actually go ahead and take this and put it inside of a crafting table here to make a dried kelp block, and then I can in turn put that back inside of this to use for fuel, and you can keep doing this over and over. So on top of all the XP that you are getting here, it is a really easy way and super simple way to get a ton of fuel, infinite fuel actually, because it takes 0 resources to do this. You just sit here, funnel those items back inside of here. You can see that 1 kelp block is still smelting. So really good farm, super good for XP and fuel. And speaking of the XP part, I'll show you how to do that right now. So as you can see, I've put myself into survival mode, and what I'm also going to do is take some levers and put it on top of these here, just so that I can flick them and stop it from smelting so I can actually collect the XP, but make sure if you go AFK to turn those back, so the items still get filtered through. So you can see I have no levels, and like I was saying, unfortunately they have nerfed this a little bit, so you don't get as much XP as you used to, but it's still a really good way to get a bunch of fuel, and the XP does still work. Like I said, it's just not as much, but all you have to do is collect this, and you can see that I have gotten a little bit of XP. So collecting this one here, you can see I've gotten a little bit of XP at the bottom there. Again, not as good as it used to be, but it is completely 0 tick, and just sitting here for even a minute, I got this much dried kelp and all of that. So it's really good for a fuel source as well, and not just an XP farm. And again, it is fully AFKable, and it's so cheap to make, there's really no point to not build it. I mean, you'll have infinite fuel source just by doing this one thing. No more need to go mining for coal or getting lava buckets or anything. This is really the only farm that you will need. You can see I can go into a crafting table and use all of this here to get 7 dried kelp blocks, and that's just in like 1 minute here. I can then put that back into here to use the kelp that I get from the kelp farm to smelt more kelp from the kelp farm. Yeah, that sounds about right. And one more thing with this farm, make sure that you don't log out while it's going. Otherwise, what's going to happen is what happened with me when I did it here, where you can see that if I place kelp inside of it now, for some reason the game just doesn't like it and the farm doesn't work. You can see the kelp just gets broken. So make sure that while you're building this farm, never log out while it is turned on so it's going. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and now I can log out of the game. Just a really important thing, because otherwise the farm will break like that one that I've made over there. But anyways, that is going to be it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything that you have questions about. I'm always here answering questions, even months after the video. I will always be here to answer them. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. BlazedMC out.